Hey guys, today we're going to be making red velvet cake from Jada's cookbook, and this is my cousin Shelly, and this is Navy. Hit it, Navy! Yay! You did a good job. Yeah. Alright, so these are the ingredients that we're going to need. Take a look. It's half a cup of shortening, 1.5 cups of regular white sugar, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of the cocoa powder. It's supposed to be 4 tablespoons of the red dye. This is all I have. We're going to make it work. I hope this works out to be 4 tablespoons. A teaspoon of salt, and I'm putting that in because I'm not using butter. You know, when I put salted butter, I don't use salt. A teaspoon of vanilla extract, a cup of buttermilk, 2.5 cups of sifted all-purpose flour, and a teaspoon and a half of baking soda. And this is 1 tablespoon of white distilled vinegar. I set this aside because we're going to do that chemical thing with it, okay? So you saw, according to Jada's book, not my mom's cookbook. I can't believe that I've never tried this recipe on the show before. I think when we were doing Jada's book, we tested this recipe so much that I thought that I made it for the show already. Now, you saw, according to the book, that we used coconut milk. I don't happen to have coconut milk right now because I used the last tin when I made some Creole buns for my Australian guests last week. So I switched it out to buttermilk, which is probably what you're gonna find when you look up most red velvet cake recipes on the internet. I don't want you to make the buttermilk at home. I want you to go out and buy real buttermilk or real coconut milk, because I promise you it makes a difference in this cake, okay? It's gonna make it so rich and moist. So don't do that little scientific trick where you put like the vinegar with the milk and sour it out. Don't do that. Go buy the real buttermilk, okay? So let's start off first of all by creaming the shortening and the sugar. I've creamed the shortening and the sugar for about 5 minutes, and now I'm just going to go ahead and get my eggs open. And it's only 2 eggs that's needed for this cake. I don't know why red velvet cake only uses 2 eggs while other cakes tend to use a lot more, but I promise you it's going to be moist, so don't worry, all right? If you notice, when you're creaming shortening with sugar, it doesn't come as creamy as when you're using butter. But as long as everything is blended in well, you're going to be fine. So I put the 2 eggs in. Just let me go ahead and get this worked in. See, it's getting creamy now, right? The eggs, you know, making it work. And so now what I want to do is work on the part of it that makes the cake red velvet. And what that is the baking cocoa and the red dye. So of course, if you wanted to do another type of velvet, blue, green, pink, yellow, pick one, you would just use a different color dye along with the baking cocoa. Let me go ahead and get this bottle open. Now it calls for 4 tablespoons, and I don't know how much I'm going to get out of this bottle. So that's 1. And then a 2. And let me go ahead and give this a stir before I add more. And I'm using a small bowl, so it's making it difficult. And I don't know if you know this about baking cocoa, but it tends to go everywhere, and it's so hard to clean up. It messes up your rag and stuff when you try to clean it up. So you want to be very, very careful with this if you don't want to have to do a lot of cleanup. So let me see. Oops, I got another one. Yay. So that's 3. So I think we should be fine with this other little bottle right here that I found in my pantry. This came with a pack of 4 different colors, and so I think we should be fine with that. We'll get our 4 tablespoons, or we'll be a little bit shy if anything, but it'll be okay. It'll have a nice rich red color. So yeah, I'm so glad that I made this work. So just let me go ahead and stir this a little bit more. Let me get rid of my cap here. And I don't know how it's looking on your end, but it's looking really, really bright blood red on my end. Try to say that fast. Bright blood red. I mean, that's kind of hard. Too many B's in there, right? So now it's time for me to go ahead and add this to the batter, and I'm going to continue using my hand mixer to take care of this, okay? So let me go ahead and pour this in. Don't worry, I will grab a spatula, or I'll use the same spoon that I have in a little bowl, and I'll scrape every last drop out because I want every drop of red to be in here to make this cake as vibrant as can be. So now it's time to take care of my liquid. So I'm adding the vanilla to the buttermilk. Thank you, Marie and Dawn, for buying me this vanilla extract, by the way. And then the salt. And you know, Marie and Dawn were bringing vanilla extract from Australia for me, and they took it away from them at the airport, so she made sure she went and bought me one when she got here. Isn't that so sweet? So now what we're gonna do is add the flour and the milk alternately. So we got used to having a studio audience when we did the taste thing. So we have another studio audience here at the show today.
We're from Utah.
Oh, you look good on camera, Kason. The camera loves you.
Right on.
Yeah, and this is my cousin Alexis over there in the cap. Jada in her natural hair. This is sweet, sweet Navy that's going to say, you're watching the Bear Pantry Show. This is my cousin Shelly, Navy's mom. This is Brian's wife. And we have Colin over there, and Lewis is hiding. Never hiding. So this is the studio audience as we get ready to put the red velvet cake into the oven that's preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so this is 5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of milk, and I'm just going to add this to it, and we're going to stir this until it gets thick, because you saw that I already creamed the butter and the sugar for the frosting, right? And the cake is cooling down, and Navy is excitedly waiting for the cake. It's kind of nice having a studio audience. You guys don't even know. This is fun. I just want this to get a little bit thicker. And I have it on medium heat, but this is my big burner, so watch that, okay? It only took about 1.5 minutes, so let me cut the fire off. And see, it's very thick. And all I have to do now is put this in with the butter and the sugar. I don't want it to get lumpy. So just add it to this right here. And you're supposed to cool it down a little bit, but everybody's kind of like in a rush here. So we're moving rather fast. And just getting it in here. Now let me get my hand mixer going. And I'm just going to blend it in really well so it can become creamy and smooth. And of course, clean off the edges with a spatula. Because you want to make sure everything is well incorporated. And this is going to be a really light and creamy type of frosting to go on top of the cake. I want to take this off, because I'm gonna like crumble it up and put it as a part of the decorations. I'm trying to be all fancy. So pretty much I'm just eyeballing this, and I'm kind of looking from a different angle and see where it's kind of high. I'm only going to do it to the one cake and not to the second one, because the second cake I want to flip upside down like this, so that the smooth side or the top side is on the bottom. Now I've put some of the frosting and it's still too hot, so I put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And then now it's time to decorate the top of the cake. And as you can see, it spreads pretty smoothly, but it's still it still needs to set a little bit more. I still think I'm working with it while it's too hot, but you know what? I want to finish. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to dress this cake with the frosting, and it's melting and it's looking gorgeous anyways. Looks like cream cheese frosting, but it's not.
It looks so good.
It's so good.
It's like oozing down the side.
And I didn't mean for it to do that, but hey, it's going
It
to work.
looks good.
Whatever works.
That's the problem sometimes when you're doing the show, is that it's so hot with the lights that the things don't do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
Now let's try our fruits. So these are sliced strawberries, and I picked strawberries because it'll go well with the red that we're going to dress the outside with, and also beautifully with the red velvet, the color of the red velvet of the cake. So I'm also going to use blueberries because I like the contrast. And I suppose if you did a blue velvet cake, these colors of fruit would still go well. I'm also going to put a piece of the strawberry that has the green leaf still attached to it, okay, in a little bit. So let me go ahead and sprinkle my cake. And what I did was just blended it up in the nutribullet. And I'm just going to toss it on here, okay? So this is pretty cool. It's looking pretty already, right? It looks like I know what I'm doing. I would be so proud to take this cake to any party that I was invited to, because I would walk in and this cake would be the hit of the party, don't you think? And when you're cutting for the show, guys, you want to go ahead and cut big so you guys can see what it is. All right, guys, this is my piece. Kason, show your piece.
Hers is definitely bigger.
This is just a piece that I cut out for you guys. This is for you guys. Go ahead and take it. So we're going to taste on camera. Dig in, Kason. Everybody ran and volunteered to come taste, but Kason won.
I'd say it's pretty good.
I love the frosting.
It's so good.
And we have some more frosting that's left over. Take a look. Me and Shelly are going to fight over this. It's moist. I like the fruits. Kason, what do you think about my decorations?
Very nice. Good touch.
I'm really proud of that because I suck at decorating cakes, and I tell my viewers that all the time.
It doesn't look like you suck.
So I'm like, we're going to do pretty colors. You can change out the dye and make it become blue velvet, green velvet, yellow velvet, pick a velvet.
Black velvet.
We went with red. Next time we'll do blue, okay? Awesome! What's Jada doing over there? Show Jada over there.
Jada's taking care of a small child right now.
There you go.
This is so
What your
good.
father means, hon, is it's going to be
Baby. Baby.
Do the peace sign. Ready? Double pieces. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for commenting, and until I see you again. Do you know my ending?
Nope.
Take care. Say it. Until I see you again.
Until I see you again, take care.
Yay! He has a broadcaster's voice. Hey, you can go in broadcasting. So everybody's waiting to eat. Bye, guys.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
Do it again, Kason.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
Alexis, come on.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
Alexis sounds so white.
Maybe.
Do it again,
Maybe.
Alexis.
Maybe.
No, not that you did it wrong. I just want to have different
You're too white.
intonations. No, I'm going to use both inflections that you guys
Okay.
use.
Right on.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
You want to go again?
Maybe you want to go again?
Put your hand down.
You want your Bear Pantry Show.
No, you haven't said it yet, Shelly.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
Yes!
Nice.
Thank you, guys.